I'm Stila Webb.
And I'm Siobhan Ghosh.
I'm going to write my first fiction novel this year.
And I'm going to film it.
And we're going to release one video each week.
And if you keep up with Stila's word count, by the end of 2017, you'll have...
It's not quite right, is it? In fact, the little details are by far the most important.
Hey 10%ers, so this week we're on a field trip. Remember a while ago when we did our episode on descriptions and how I advised everybody that when you can, go out to the locations that you're writing about and get a feel for them by actually being in them yourself, by actually experiencing them, smelling them, touching them, tasting them. Today we're going to go on a field trip so I can show you a little bit about why I say that. Today I'm on a trail in the woods. Usually a lot of people, especially in cities, when they think of the woods, they think of very normal, generic things. Oh, the trees, the rustle of the leaves, the birds, things like that. And they miss out on some of the details that anybody who's actually been in the woods would know. For instance, if you have a scene of somebody crashing through the woods and they're running through, not on a path or anything, those of us who know about the woods kind of think, really? Really? That's some dense foliage. In New England, we have a lot of poison ivy. That's another detail most people don't think of when they're writing their books. They'll have somebody running through the woods and nothing will come of that. They don't get poison ivy when, I promise you, we have a lot. The types of trees that you'll see, the conditions of the trees, these are all little details that you should probably try to find. So if you go out into the actual environment that you're trying to talk about, get a personal feel. What do you notice? What do you smell? What do you hear? What sticks out to you as interesting and defining about the place that you're in? And what if you have a character who can fly or does airplanes? Find drone footage, or if you have a drone, take your own footage of flying. See what that feels like. What does the world look like from that perspective? How do things change? Are you writing a YA and you have some kids running out into the woods to hide in some bushes? What does that look like? Go into a bush, hide, figure it out yourself. Get in there and spend 10 minutes with a notepad, just writing down the things that you observe and are hearing and are smelling and are feeling. For those who don't know, that's what a chipmunk sounds like. A chip, chip, chip. When we think of fields, we don't think of them being very noisy, but just listen to all the bugs. It's like a constant drone. We don't often think about the sweetness of the smell of fresh mown grass or freshly cut hay in a big hayfield. Again, it's these little details. They don't seem like much. If you get the little details right in your book, even if it's a fantasy novel and most of the stuff you're talking about is completely fake and you've made it all up, if you get the little details of real life right, your readers are far more willing to believe what you have to say about the big things. They're willing to set their disbelief to the side and believe in magic for a little while. They're willing to take that leap with you because the little details have made your world seem so true, so real, so vivid and immersive. So the little details matter a lot more than you think they do. Because the fastest way to pull somebody out of your fiction is to get a detail really wrong. And that's one of the biggest things you're trying to do when you write fiction, is to keep your readers immersed in the world you're building. So as writers, and most people actually in the Western world, we spend most of our time traveling in cars. So most of the time, we cross rivers on these. So we're looking down at the river from a height, we're going pretty quickly, and we kind of forget just how big a river really is. And as authors, we should really spend a lot of time paying attention, being observant, and listening and thinking about the places that we're in, because we're probably going to write about them at some point. And if you're doing a story and you're having characters hide under an underpass, or maybe they're teenagers who are runaways and they're looking for a place to sleep, you might think a place like that might be a good idea. Come to a place like this yourself. Get a feel for it. Come when it's raining. Experiencing it yourself is always the best way. Aside from keeping your readers interested because of the details that make your world feel deeper, is also hearing your voice. Something different will stick out to each person who observes it. And putting it in your own words, with your own twists, your own cadence, your own personal observations gives you, the author, your own personal voice. Find something different to describe, something that exists when you see it, but that most people don't notice or bother to explain or describe. And that makes your writing even more interesting. There's no question that sometimes you can't go to the locations that you're actually writing about. You can't always hop on a plane and fly to London. I can't go to Montana, where half of my first book is going to end up being set in. So there are limitations to this, but you do the best you can. So use the internet to your advantage as often as possible. So this week's homework would be find a place that you have easy access to, and before you go there, write down a bunch of what you would normally think of when you think of that place. Then go there and start writing down the things that you're noticing while you're there that aren't on that list. We're looking for words that are different, for experiences that most people don't go to automatically. Next week, Shivam and I will do part 2 of this, where we'll actually show you how to take some generic descriptions and turn them into very interesting and unique descriptions using that list of words that you created this week. So until then, get editing. Wang. Totally realized I just did a whole section without the thing on. Oh, that's so embarrassing.